A marriage green card can be understood as obtaining lawful permanent resident status through your spouse. For example, if your husband or if your wife is a US citizen and you're an immigrant, or you are living abroad and you want to come to the United States and live here permanently, you can file an application to become a green card holder, and your spouse can file a petition to bring you as her spouse or his spouse, so that you can live with her here. So if you get a green card because your spouse petitioned for you, that would be a marriage green card. What documents do you need to apply for a green card if you're married to a US citizen or a lawful permanent resident? You will need proof of your relationship. That is very, very important. So for example, love letters between your spouse and yourself. Pictures are very important. Letters of support from your friends, from your pastor, or your priest. Documents that prove that you have a relationship together and that you're living together. So for example, ownership of a home ownership documents, or car ownership documents, or bank account statements. You prove that you are living together when you mix your money with your spouse. If you're sharing a bank account, that proves that it's a legit marriage. That said, not everybody has all of those documents, all of the documents I mentioned, or a lot of pictures. A lot of couples don't like taking a lot of pictures, so some couples will not have a lot of pictures. So that's why it is very important that you work with an immigration attorney, so that you know exactly what documents you should provide, so that you can compensate in areas where you are not very strong. How should I prepare for my marriage green card? Preparing for an interview, it is so important. I think that that's one of the most important steps in the entire application process. That is because you don't want to show up to the interview unprepared, or showing that you do not care about this step or about the process. So I would highly recommend that you sit down with your partner or with your husband, with your wife, and that you ask yourselves questions. I recommend that you do it with an immigration attorney, ideally me, and I will prepare you questions. I will play the role of an immigration officer, and I will ask you the questions that I have seen time and time again officers asking the couples. So for example, when did you meet? How did you meet? Who was there when you met? At what time did your spouse woke up this morning? Who drove this morning to the interview? Who lives at home? Who lives with you? Who pays for the expenses? Who cooks at home? All of those questions should be asked, and should be asked in anticipation of the interview, so that when you go to the interview, you know what your weak points are. So for example, if you were to ask my husband details about dates, when did you guys meet? When did you guys get married? My husband may not be the strongest person to answer those questions for the two of us. Whereas if you ask me the dates, I'm very good with dates. So when you prepare for the interview, you will identify your weak spots, and that way when you go to the interview, you will know how to handle your weak spots and make your weaknesses your strengths. Thank you so much for listening today, and please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them here or to answer them personally. Thank you.